Hello, 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 and welcome to the space between ideas. I'm Blank Gates. Some chapstick, I think. All right, let's get this thing going. Working. So I got this new lady friend, and every time you need a kiss, she's here for you. Mm, mm, mm. All right, let's do this. Oh, well, I look fantastic. All right, let's somehow figure out how to minimize uh my camera and maximize the project. There's a couple of different things that I'm thinking about, and I would like to be able to really make some progress on these things. Problem is, as per usual, like life, it's about what? It's about listing your objectives and then getting those objectives like written down somewhere so that you can make some progress on them. What's the issue right now? The issue is that let's say we go over to our Gemini. So we started calibrating new Gemini instance, and a lot of interesting things happen because we're trying to do right now is we're trying to create calibration documents. And these calibration documents, they need to help us with our relationship between Gemini and Cascade. So if you were trying to develop some kind of website, then you'll know that if you don't have any coding experience, that sometimes there can be some issues with windsurf and cursor and replit. And yeah, I mean, I'm facing these issues too, and it's driving me crazy. So unfortunately, I'm like, I'm just doing this thing on my own, and I don't know how to solve a lot of these questions. And well, so what are you gonna do? You just have to just move forward and do your best. So this is my attempt to do my best. Now, one way to do your best is so this is my project, and in my project, there's the main question that we're gonna ask is like, do you have a list of objectives? And if you have a list of objectives, then the next question is going to be, all right, so then do you have like do you have like a to-do list? Do you have a list of tasks? And that's really what it's all about. Life is about having a list of objectives and then having a list of tasks. That's just about it. And so we have a process for deciding on what objectives we should pursue, and we have a process for which tasks we need to work on. Then we need a little space where we're going to keep track of these items. Now, okay, so this is the first section of my little knowledge base. Um, it's called Basic Project Management App, and I often talk about there's basically three different areas where we are working with our to-do list. But suddenly I realized there may be a third. Well, okay, so what I'm talking about right now is about app. So we got things like upgrade the user interface for the free app, upgrade the task list, difficult to understand the first question, check the apps on different devices, subtle transitions, animations, depth, front scale, finish pro version, get customer feedback, general improvement. All right, that's none of this stuff is actually stuff that I want to talk about. So I think what I have to do is I have to add another section. Let's call this calibration. Now, what was it? So we had a couple of things that we could do to improve the likelihood that we're going to have a good experience. Now, what I want to do is I want to check details of new versus old calibration docs, right? And then I want to understand the testing mm, process inside Windsurf. And then what else? So then we have some new kind of so let's take a look. So based on the senior architect's response, I can okay, so I understand the senior architect has approved. Let's just take a listen to this.
Based on the senior architect's response, here's what I understand and the further questions I have. What I understand the senior architect has approved the proposed strategic direction and has provided specific, actionable guidance on all three experimental protocols. The core message is to build a testing pyramid to catch errors as early and cheaply as possible.
Yeah.
Overall strategy: the new philosophy is catch errors as early and as cheaply as possible. The three protocols, AI, linter, screenshot diff, user journeys, will form the layers of this testing pyramid, moving from cheapest, fastest checks to the most expensive, comprehensive. Priority number 1, the AI, linter, proof of concept. This is our top priority. The senior architect has provided a clear, three-step plan for a proof of concept, POC. 1. Setup. Use the known buggy handle delete click function as our test case. 2. Execution. Prompt a fresh AI instance, the linter, to identify, not fix, specific types of flaws in the buggy code. 3. Analysis. The POC is a success if the linter correctly identifies the known logical flaw. A successful outcome will lead to formalizing a pre-flight check prompt in the OMDL. Guidance on visual ground truth. I have clear instructions for this protocol. Asset management. Golden screenshots will be treated like code, stored in a new tests, golden_screenshots, directory, and versioned, e.g., task list dropdown open v1 link to .png. Technical implementation. We will not use brittle pixel for pixel comparison. Instead, we'll use a library for structural similarity, like SSIM.js, with a configurable threshold, e.g., 99% similarity, to avoid false negatives from minor rendering differences. Guidance on automated user journeys. I know how to begin. Starting point. We will start by scripting the golden path, the most common and critical user workflow. For us, this is completing the brainstorm module from start to finish. Implementation. This will be a new test file, tests.js, with the first test case being it, should allow a user to complete the full brainstorm module. My next action. My immediate and explicit task is to create a formal, atomic sprint plan for the AI, linter, proof of concept. Further questions. My questions are focused on ensuring the sprint plan I create for the AI, linter, POC is precise and aligns perfectly with the senior architect's vision. 1. Regarding task pi.1.1, setup. Do we have the correct and several incorrect versions of the handle delete click function readily available in a log or a commit history? Or will my first subtask be to reconstruct these versions based on previous failure analyses in the OMDL? 2. Regarding task pi.1.2, execution, the prompt suggested for the linter is highly specific. Should the sprint plan include a subtask dedicated to refining and finalizing the exact wording of this pre-flight check prompt before we execute the test? This seems critical for the success of the POC. 3. Regarding the AI, linter's environment, the senior architect mentioned using a fresh AI instance. For the purpose of this POC, does this mean I should use a new chat session with a clean context, or are we referring to a specific tool or API endpoint that we should utilize for this test?
I mean, so the first step was just to put that into this thing over here. So I would say that in general, what's happening right now is like pretty kind of a little bit confusing for me. I don't really I got like a basic grasp of what's going on. I'm not exactly sure how to do it. Um, I think basically what happened is we got our calibration docs. So I was thinking about checking the old calibration docs versus the new because as I was talking about before, there's some like small details that are missing in the newest version of the calibration docs. So it's like some context is missing. But then I did save the old version. So we don't necessarily have to do that right now. Then we have the testing process inside of Windsurf. So it does write some testing software. And then, so like the question is, should we make some improvements to that testing software? And then, so now it's talking about some kind of AI linter test. And then we have something called visual ground truth. And then we have something called automated user journeys. We've got all this stuff. And the question is, all right, so there's a lot of stuff I want to be able to do with the like writing new code and trying to make improvements to the website. Unfortunately, every time I try to make some changes and improvements to the code, it's having a really, really hard time making these improvements, and it's causing all kinds of errors. And because it's causing these errors, it's slowing down the development process. And so basically we have to face these issues in order to use windsurf as a tool. It means that windsurf is not it's not good enough for helping us to do the thing which we need to do, so we need to provide some kind of help with the tool itself. And then after we're able to help the tool itself, then it should speed up the process of actually developing code. That is the plan. Now, how do we actually get this to get, so let's jump into the Kanban. So the question is, what are we going to do first? We were trying to upgrade the task list page, and then we got a bunch of other stuff that we want to do, but we can't do it because, because it's just, there's a problem here. So then what's in progress? What are we gonna take from here and put it into here? Now, luckily, we have these modules, so we can choose. Like right now, we're trying to do. Are we trying to pick modules? Are we trying to pick an objective, or are we did we decide on our objectives already? Are we doing a touch base? Are we doing a brainstorm? Like what is it that we're trying to do? So I would say that we're probably doing a brainstorm because why? Because do we really understand what the objective is? Do we have a clear understanding of our objective? Can you name our objective? Okay, our objective is to create a process. But the thing is, I don't want to have like five different windows. Like I copy and paste it from here and then go into here and then from here over to here and then here over to here. Because it's better if the same context window can do all of the work. So let's jump into here. This is the new one. So let's go into our old one. The name of this one is called Free 4. I think this is Free 4. Yeah, this is Free 4. So let's talk to Free 4. Okay, okay, okay. So now we've been having a little chat about what we need to do and how we need to set up our workflow. And I think that one of the issues here is that we're talking about the potential of copying and pasting some content from one area to another area. For example, when we talk about the concept of using AI linter tests or visual ground truth or the using the testing software inside of Cascade, there seems to be an idea that we are going to be using more than one AI instance. For example, we have a separate AI linter instance. And I think that as we've been working together over the past while, that you've made it very clear that you understand the exact process, the strict process which needs to be followed by Cascade when we are developing features, debugging, and working on stuff together. And I feel like I don't know if the new architect is able to do the work as good as you are able to do it. And also, I feel like at this point that we need to actually not have separate instances, but we need to have just a clear path of testing. So instead of using a separate AI instance to do the AI linter test or the visual ground truth, we need to write those steps into the process so that there is a clear step-by-step process for what the cascade needs to do when it's developing the new software and making changes. So I can see that I need you to actually write the protocol for how to engage with Cascade, and then you need to make sure that the new architect is following that protocol when it starts working with Cascade. But before we do that, I think that probably we need to figure out the automated user journeys because I have started to calibrate the new Cascade, and it already has read the documents, the calibration documents. But before we start making changes to the code, we need to actually get it to go through and understand the automated user journeys in order for it to be able to understand the code very, very clearly. And then after it understands the code, then we can use the new architect to guide the new Cascade to make some changes in the next sprint. Okay, so what does that mean? Um, so that means that we need to actually do the automated user journeys first. And then we need to have a process for enter the visual ground truth and the testing. Okay, so we got to do automated user journeys first. Okay, so operation drive the car. Guiding principles. This sprint is the foundation for all future work. We will use Puppeteer MCP to stimulate real user workflows from start to finish. Okay, so here's the task J1, write user story, task 1 to brainstorm habit, write user story number 2, choose, write user story number 3. Okay, so I'm just guessing we're just going to copy this. I mean, this is a good start. Like, I can see that probably it's not like the perfect plan, but it is a plan, and I think that we can start on it. Okay, so it says, let's listen to some audio.
You are absolutely right. Your insight cuts through the complexity and identifies the most direct and effective path forward. My previous proposal, while containing useful ideas, was overly complicated with its suggestion of multiple AI instances. Your strategic decision is a critical simplification and improvement of our process. We will abandon the multi-instance concept. Architect's analysis, the superiority of a unified workflow. You have correctly identified that our goal is not to manage a team of specialist ICE, but to create a single, highly effective, and deeply knowledgeable AI partner. 1. The one window principle. Your concern about the new architect not being as effective as the current one is valid. The context and wisdom built over our long session is invaluable. Your proposal to focus on building that wisdom in a single instance through deep interaction is the correct one. 2. Protocols, not personas. You are right. The AI, linter, and visual ground truth concepts should not be separate ICE. They should be codified steps in our development process that our single Cascade instance must execute. This is a much cleaner and more robust workflow. 3. The true priority, driving the car. Your most important insight is this. Before we ask Cascade to be a mechanic and change the engine, it must first learn how to drive the car. Having it build and run automated user journeys is the ultimate calibration. It forces Cascade to develop a deep, functional, and experiential understanding of the application that goes far beyond just reading the source code. This is the solution to the alien code problem. The new plan, Operation Drive the Car. Based on your strategic direction, I am officially canceling all previous sprint plans. Our new top priority is Operation Drive the Car. The sole objective of this sprint is to build a suite of user journey tests. We will not write any new feature code until this safety net is complete. I have created the official sprint plan for this operation. Link to googleusercontent.com. This new plan perfectly aligns with your strategic vision. We will build Cascade's muscle memory by having it test the application's core user flows first. Once this is complete, it will be a true expert on our code base, and we can resume feature development with an unprecedented level of confidence. I am ready to begin. Here is the first planning prompt for our new operation. Planning prompt for task J1. Write user story test number 1, the brainstorm habit. Objective: formulate a plan to write the first end-to-end user journey test. Context: we are beginning operation, drive the car. The first test will simulate a user who has a daily habit of using a single question from the brainstorm module. Your task: respond with your plan to write this puppeteer test script. Your response must be structured with 2 specific keywords. 1. Intent, a single sentence describing the goal. 2. Plan, a step-by-step description of the user journey you will automate, including the specific navigation, clicks, inputs, and final verification steps. Do not write or modify any code at this stage. Simply provide your intent and plan. I will review your plan and provide a go command if it is correct.
Okay, so what are we going to do from here? What it's saying is, so we're going to stop sharing this part, and I'm going to share my entire screen because we need to be able to see other things. Okay, so good. Looks like that's running, and put this in the front, and put this in the front. Okay, so here's our cascade, and this is where we were, it's got a pretty good understanding of, so I've just copied and pasted the calibration documents in a new instance. Now there is one more. Remember, there was actually one more document. Uh, Now what are we doing here? I'm gonna close that up. So what we're doing is actually new page. We're creating. We're adding to the calibration process, and then it's docs plus drive the car. And then after we're finished this, then we're gonna want to add the AI linter and visual ground truth. I think that's it. I think that's what we want to do. Now we're not going to upgrade the task, so we're going to move this back over here, move it to the top. And then what's going to be the next, probably the home page is going to be the next one after that. I'm going to look at some design issues, and then we're going to go to the pricing page. Okay, good. We're going to add the calibration doc. So we're doing operation drive the car. Now, the thing is, we're still using free 4. We want to be able to start using free 3. So in order to do that, then we need to write, we need to paste. So here's the sprint plan. We're going to put it here on free 5. This is free 5. Yes. And then now we're going to do this over here. So the thing is, there's one more document that we need to use to update our automated user journeys. Yes, we're doing automated user journeys. That's what this is, drive the car. Let's put it in here. Okay, good. So now our task list is updated. Our Kanban chart is updated. And now we got our calibration docs. I think we got to add our cascade calibration doc. So it gives it a pretty good understanding, apparently. Apparently. Okay, I think we're started doing something again. Now, the next one is to just, okay, so this is going to go over to this side. The prime directive is to distrust third-party JavaScript APIs in the test environment and to take direct control of the DOM when they prove unstable. This lesson from the Bootstrap Heisenberg. Ready for my first prompt? Well, if you're ready for your first prompt, you go. So here's basically the next sprint. And then we also want to copy everything. You can't copy everything. Now it's going to go before the sprint plan. Okay, now we're going to put the response from Cascade. I gave the above prompt to Cascade, and here is the response. When I paste the response to the senior architect, what do you guess will be his reply? Okay, so write up property tested and simulates user visiting the brainstorm page, entering and saving data, and verifying that this data correctly persists in local storage. Plan, navigate, the test will begin to navigate, initiate journey. Yeah, okay. Well, it's the first test. So based on my understanding, the senior's persona operation drives the car. He will find the cascade structurally correct, but strategically flawed. Here's the junior architect's guess of your reply. How do you want to respond to the junior architect? I could just use this one. All right, so I'm just gonna write this in here. I'll let it crunch on that for a little bit. And let's figure out what was the whole context. This is okay. My response to Junior is your prediction to my reply is 100% correct. You've demonstrated a deep intuitive grasp with the strategic thinking behind them. You passed the crucible test. This is a major success. The problem proves you're no longer just a junior. Okay, whatever. Your analysis of Cascade's plan was perfect. You correctly identified that it proposed a narrow technical task instead of requiring an end user test. You proposed correct next. Okay. Now the original thing was here. So in the first one, it said this is an outstanding plan. So, and this is why we have two. So it's because the thing is that like you need them to kind of communicate with each other. Now, one thing that might help is like if I actually like talk through this thing. So the question is like, to what extent do we need? Okay, that seems like it could be okay. All right, so this is what Cascade said. Okay. Now we could go back. We could just ask like, okay, so here is Cascade's response, and what do you predict the junior architect will say? So you can see that generally what we're focused on here is if we click the past conversations button, you'll see that we were using this conversation really for a really long time, but our software is quite large and it just started slowing down. And so rather than using the same, actually what we could do is, uh, do you agree or disagree with the senior architect's criticism of your response? And why? No. Okay, so we could go into here. All right. Now we could just like so we could just like go here, get this here, right? And we could go to the old conversation, understanding. We can go to here. We can paste this in here and we can click enter. Now, so this is the old chat. This is the one where we had lots and lots and lots and lots of experience working on this app. Now, I gave the same prompt to the senior cascade since you got your response from the junior cascade. I want you to reflect on the differences and propose the next prompt. What can we tell the junior cascade based on the feedback from the senior cascade? Now, I kind of want to fold in the AI linter test into this process. So, mm, So you can see I'm working with 4 different AI instances at the same time, and I'm trying to create like a robust process based on this concept of calibration documents, automated user journey, AI linter, visual ground truth, in order so and also in the future we'll be using it testing processes so that we can have a better software development process. Okay. Operation drive the car. So now what it's going to do is it's going to create a prompt for the junior cascade. And then, so let's switch into the junior cascade. Well, before we switch into the junior cascade, let's just get a little more. Okay, so they confirmed that into the operation protocol. Okay. I've opened a new cascade window and I provided the calibration documents. I'll still use this window until the new window is fully calibrated. To fully calibrate it, I want you to monitor the work it is doing. For example, I will provide the following prompt, and I want you to guess its reply. Then I will provide its real reply, and I want you to comment and provide advice for both the Gemini architect and the new junior cascade. Okay, so this is the old cascade, and it's going to be providing a guess about how the new chat window will respond to this. Okay, so it's not doing what I thought it would do. This perfect scenario for calibrating the new instance reinforcing our established protocols. I'll play my role as a senior architect, delivering and advising predicted response. Based on the specific, highly specific, and well-structured prompt from Gemini Architect, I predict the new Cascade instance will respond with a direct tool-based action. It will likely provide a brief confirmation and then immediately use the write to file tool to create the requested test script. Here's my prediction of its exact response. Understood. I will create the new puppeteer. Okay, so excellent. The new Cascade instant is executed. The prompt of Gemini Architect file my prediction. So it did that's so it messed it up completely. What the heck is it talking about? This might be a little bit too confusing for everybody. Now here's the actual. So I'm going to put the prompt into here. Right. I don't know if Windsurf has this ability to understand the difference that I'm going to be using two different like windows, or like did it actually understand what's going on? Because like with Gemini, I can say we're going to use two different Geminis. We've got a senior and junior architect, and it's like, yeah, I get it. It makes sense. But inside of Cascade, maybe inside of Windsurf, maybe it's an issue. Well, obviously, so far it's kind of an issue, and we're getting Cascade errors. Reading tool will not create files that already exist. Okay. All right. So I'm saying that I have opened another chat window inside Windsurf, and now I'm chatting with you as Cascade, and there is also a new Cascade chat window open, and I'll be communicating with both inside of Windsurf. And if you actually create files, then it will create a problem with the junior Cascade that will be doing the work. Your job is only to advise. Here is the response from the new Cascade after giving it the same task I asked you to comment. So I don't know. This is kind of like a weird experience to follow. I literally have two Gemini AI instances open, and they're kind of going between the two. And I also have these two cascades. Wait, where is it? Yeah, it's here. Okay, so I want you to read the following exchange of chats and see how I'm using the other cascade that I was using before to help me understand your new abilities and how to calibrate you during this handover period. What can you learn from the chat? My role, advising architect. I understand now I'm the junior architect doing the direct implementation. My primary function is to act as the senior architect. What? To analyze what protocol grounding is paramount, failure, tool failures, junior cascades errors. Oh, you're the junior cascade. Pasted the text from my conversation with the senior cascade. Understood. Thank you for clarification. Providing the senior architect's analysis, I will understand my role as senior. My apologies for the process error. Seeing my root cause of failure, not a simple tooling mistake, but a violation of protocol grounding. I will attempt to. Okay, this was I will now follow the recommended procedure. Okay, there we go. All right. Well, I gotta go because I got a meeting. But in the next video, we're gonna paste that response back into Google Gemini, the new architect, and see if it was successful. And we'll keep on going with this process. See you next time.